Hey, it's Alex from Four Course Films. Today I want to talk about location selection. Location selection can save you a lot of time and money in production. And this is why. Your location can provide you a lot of things. It can provide you just a place to shoot. It can also provide you with parking, power, a place to eat, and all sorts of hair and makeup areas, all these things that if your location does not provide, you're going to have to bring in. So when you're approaching your location, make sure you know everything that you're gonna need on location, not just the spaces that you need to shoot, not just what's in front of the camera. You really need to be conscious of what's behind the camera, what else you're gonna need, because those are gonna be other expenses that you could roll into the cost of a location or that can make this location a lot more attractive than this one. When you're going up to location, have a checklist. You need to find bathrooms for your crew. You need parking for your crew. You need a place to feed your crew. You need a place to do hair and makeup. You need a place for people to change and a place to put all your wardrobe. You need a place to stage art and grip and electric and camera departments. So while the director and DP are busy looking at what is going to be on camera, you need to look at what's going to be off camera and make sure that this location is going to provide amply for that. And if it isn't, you need to understand what you're going to need to bring in or what you're going to need to do to be able to make that happen. And if it can't happen, maybe this location isn't for you. The next thing you'll want to look at a location is how it helps scheduling. So if this is your only location, maybe this is a little bit less of a concern. But if there are several locations, you want to see how it helps scheduling. Of course, its geographic location is going to affect that, but also what needs to be done at this location versus this one to pre-light or to pre-build for art department or anything else that needs to be done before you get there. All locations are going to have their advantages. There's going to be certain things that this one has that this one doesn't. But you really want to look at the whole picture and try not to get caught up in any one piece of it. The reality is that if it works really well creatively, but it just doesn't work from the producer's perspective, if there's not enough money to be able to do it properly, if there's going to be dangers there because you don't have the ability to account for them or to keep people safe around them because you just don't have the resources to be able to do that, it's not a good location. It's just not going to work. You have to learn when to say no. But you also have to couple that no with a lot of good reasons, especially if it's a great place creatively. You need to have really, really good reasons why it's not going to work from a producer's perspective. And you might be able to come to some agreement on maybe adjusting creative a little bit to make it fit, maybe adjust creative a little bit to take away the concerns that you may have that this location proposes, because other things are really valuable there. So you may be able to have that conversation, but you need to have the information, and to have the information, you need to have your checklist of what it is that you need, and to prove why it is that this need cannot be achieved within your budget at this particular location, or why it can. So aside from what your location provides, like bathrooms and extra rooms and parking, you also want to understand what your location requires. So this is, of course, deposits, any payments to site reps. A lot of times the location requires a site rep. That might be the owner of the house, or that might be a manager of some sort. So you want to find out who that person is and what you have to pay them above and beyond your location expense, if they have overtime, all these kinds of expenses. So those are your basic expenses: your damage deposit, your rental for the day or days, and your site rep fees. Beyond that, you may have permitting requirements. You may have, if they have a parking lot, you may have to pay additionally for the parking lot. You may have to pay additionally to crack the door on this room or that room or this room. You may also have to pay additionally at the location for shooting outside of certain hours. Maybe between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. is okay for this price, but if you go beyond that, you have to pay time and a half to the site rep, or you have to pay double time to the site rep, or you have to have a whole new site rep come in and pay a whole new expense. The next thing you're going to want to do is look into the local governance, make sure that there's no permits pulled for that area already. Maybe there's a 5K running through there and you're not going to be able to get in there that day. Anything else. Then you want to find out if you need to pull your own permits for that production. Then you also want to find out if there's any local ordinances that you could have the chance of violating or that might get in the way of the production. So there's a lot to consider when picking the right location. There's a lot that you need in a production, and there's a lot that location can or can't offer, and you need to know that when evaluating the value of that location versus another. So make sure that you're armed with all the information. Make yourself a lot of checklists, do your homework, and make sure you go in with the full information so you can make proper evaluations of locations. Thanks a lot, and happy shooting.